humanities, meaning the study of the human. So it's not like mathematics. It's not like science because it's history. It's not science yet.
Right.
Maybe someday will be more science, right? Something can be more science, but history means that everything's gone. It's invisible. It's dead. It's in the past. So if everything's in the past, how can you know anything?
ห้องครูจอนเขาเบอร์อะไรวะ
Why study something that
เนี่ยอยู่
doesn't
ในแชท
exist?
อะไทย
Why
เข้า
study something that's gone? Why study the past? And that is a good question. It is a good question. What I will teach you now, this year, next year, and especially in the 12th grade, is that you guys need to learn to ask questions and to think
โอ้แล้วอย่างนี้ทั้ง
about
วันเหรอ
questions.
วะ
You don't have to have an answer in my classes. You must learn to think the question. And I think if all of you can really understand that and help each other to understand that, you will enjoy my classes because I have learned that my Thai students have wonderful ways of thinking about things. And in some ways I think it's Thai style. But we can understand something. We can talk about ideas. Okay, so I don't think many of you are understanding me. So I'm going to move on to I want to select. So please raise your hand if you will help me. Xing is going to help me. Raise your hand if you can be my helper. I think you're probably either I think you can do it, Ayun, if you would like. Would you like to try?
Okay, I will try.
Yeah, just try, dear. And I of course, Neon's English is good, but I think we give her a break, okay? She can work in the group. Cake is in the group. All Cake's English is getting better. But I think I'm going to choose you, okay? So Ayun, okay? So that, you guys, and when I say a group,
โอ้เสียงขอ
you
ง
guys have to
ไทยนี่
communicate with each other
Say that.
outside of class. Does everyone understand? I'm going to ask you guys to work in groups outside of this class to help each other. Again, just like in our classroom. So I hope that you will do that. Okay, so Ayun, how many people can be in your group?
3 or 4.
Okay, do you know who they are? Can I mix it up a little bit?
Yes, you can.
Okay. So I'm going to mix that group up a little bit. Toto, can you help me?
ทำไมไทยมันกระตุกจังวะดู
Your audio is off. Can you help me?
โคตรกระตุกอะ
Your audio is off. Can you help me? Mr. Toto.
กระตุกอยู่
Mr. Toto. Ground control to Mr. Toto. Ground control to Mr. Toto. SOS. SOS. Over and out. Okay, so I can't hear you, Mr. Toto. So you got to get your audio fixed there, buddy. Who is that?
ไอแอลกลายเป็นอะไรไปแล้วเนี่ย
Beam. Beam, stop moving around, dude. It bothers me. So, there's Ty.
อ๋อไอเอสนี่หว่าไอเอสมันฉายพื้นแล้วฉายเพดาน
So, well, at least I know the Ayun's group. I need to have maybe join some men to Ayun's group. what
ใคร
maybe
เล่นในโทรศัพท์ดีกว่า
I'm going to have to do it with the lists, and then I'll post the groups. Okay, I can't do it here. Let me post the groups. I'm going to make it boy and girl, so it's going to be mixtures of boy girl. Sometimes, like today, I might try to have a girl and boy discussion. That would be, I think, okay online. But later, you guys can use Google Meet, and you can have your own groups on Google Meet
ช่วยดูก่อน
after class in Thai. And I want you to do this.
อ๋อก็คิดว่าไอ้นั่น
So
Happy
you can tell
2025
Dr. Porn, or I don't tell him. I usually don't tell him anything about my classes, but
ของเราชื่ออะไรดูวรพันธ์วรสาย
he trusts me.
อังกฤษจ้ะ
So what I think is using Google Meet. It's free. Okay, you don't have to pay for it, right? You just go in the same way, this way. It says start a meeting. It'll give you a code, and then you just send the code to all your people. And that code will be given. I don't need to do it for you. Does everyone understand? I don't need to do it for you. You can do it yourselves, but you'll do it to the list that I give you on the post. Does everyone understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Thank you.
มันให้
So
สร้างเองยอดดู
right now I have Ayun. She will have a group, and
ให้สร้างกลุ่ม
Ching will have a group.
แต่มันยังไม่เลือก
Okay?
กลุ่ม
That will be 2 girl groups for sure. And maybe the boys will have also 2 groups, and I will decide how to do that because I have Ming and Toto. After last year, even though your English is pretty good, Ming, and your English is pretty good, Toto, you know, honestly, you guys are the best English. I think Duke has
เอาอายุ
good pronunciation, but the rest people are struggling with their English. Do you think we should have one group for the boys?
Yes.
Okay.
อยู่
You see
ไม่
how
ภาษาไทยอยู่
I need you
Horn
to
was
help
that?
me. So we'll have one group for the boys. Girls, do you need to have one group as a girls offline as well, or do you want to have 2 groups? I'm getting all confused here, aren't I?
พื้นหลัง
Sorry.
เราเนียนป่ะดู
This idea just came to me this morning, and I've had a difficult night sleeping, so my mind is not perfect today. I've actually had 2 nights of not sleeping well. Don't have any idea. I already tested for COVID. I don't have COVID, but I'm not feeling right. So my brain is cloudy. Okay, I'm going to come back to this because I just told Ayun we would have boys and girls in that group, and then I just said boys would all be together. So I'll figure this out. Just know this: Ming, Toto, Xing, and Ayun are going to be kind of helpers,
ทำไม
whatever that means. Maybe not group leaders, just helpers. And then I will
Me
list
also.
everyone out in some manner. Maybe 2 groups, maybe 3 groups. I think 3 groups may be possible. Okay. Anybody have anything to say about that or anything? Okay. If you have anything to say to me, you can email me. If you want a private communication with me, my email is chalmersjohn4. chalmersjohn4. CHALMERS John number 4 at Gmail. If you want to talk to me, ask me a question. You can also ask questions on the Gmail. On the post. I use that for everything. So I don't use the assignments. All I use is the basic post. And you can, like someone asked me last night, do I draw 2 drawings? And I said, yes, you draw 2 drawings. You might have at least 1 drawing for every civilization, maybe 2, maybe 3. Folks, drawings and math, all these things are the only way for me really to teach you history. we can write something about it, but I don't know how well I don't have the time to write it with you. So all I can do is I have to break information up. Then I have to try to give you posts that will help you. But most of you cannot read the posts. It's too much English. And I imagine that I have about 4 or 5 students that probably can read it. Let's just go to the now and let's see
เสียงดังเยอะมาก
where we're at. Because I posted different things this morning and last night. So everyone go to Classroom. Okay, I'm there. Everyone there?
ลุกอะไรนะไอ้
Is
ลุก
everybody there?
เขาให้ทำอะไรเขาให้ทำอะไร
Yes.
Okay, Corn, you there?
แล้วนึงนะครับลุงเข้าไง
Okay, if you're not there, please speak in Thai with your friends and let them help you. Arm, are you there?
ไอ้ลุกเข้าไงวะครับลุง
Thai, are you there?
ตอนนี้มี23คนหรอ
Please help each other.
ครูถามว่าใครเข้า
Google Class ได้หรือยัง
เจอแล้ว
Okay.
ปันเข้าได้ใช่ไหมปัน
So, folks, I don't have time to check if everyone is with me. So, unless you talk in Thai quickly with each other right now, I have to move on because my time is too short. Okay? So, if you don't know where you are right now, my Kaujai, then ask Ming or Korn or other people who are already there. Okay, I'm moving on. I have to move on. So what we have here is a number of different links. This link's not working. This one. But I think you can copy and post it, except I think I'm going to erase it because it's connected to my name. But here's the homework so far. We have an article on all the writing in the world. We'll take a look at that. And then we have the list of the civilizations. Mesopotamia, ancient Egypt, ancient India, ancient Minoas, ancient Greek, Roman Empire, Eastern Roman Empire, Byzantium. So I can't get caught in that right now. Then we have a site with Mesopotamian art we'll take a look at. Then we have the homework up here. I guess I should try to share this. Yeah. I don't know why it's not letting me share my screen. So I'm having troubles with my Google situation here. It doesn't seem to be working like it did last time. So I cannot share my screen again. I don't know why. So I'm looking at the Fertile Crescent and the birth of civilization. So the map. So I want you guys to draw that map. And we'll be talking about that map a little bit. I'll refer to it. I want you to memorize the name of the rivers, the mountains, and the bodies of water. Okay, so I want you to know how to I'll help you with the pronunciation, but I want you to know them. So if I ask you what are the major rivers in the Fertile Crescent, you know what the name of the rivers are. Okay, I can test you. Mountains and bodies of water. There's numerous bodies of water around in the map, so they're very important. And this area of the map is really the beginning is the first civilization that we know of. So, it's thousands and thousands of years older than most of us. So it's an interesting. I get caught up in these civilizations because they're so complicated. But you must know rivers, mountains, and bodies of water. Okay, so that map you need to start doing it.
รหัสผิดเปล่าลูกส่งเนี่ย
Then there's the image up here, and this image is you can click on the image. Everyone want to click on that image real quick? Everyone click on the image.
อะไรอ่ะ
Above the map.
อ๋อไออันแผนที่นะ
Does everyone are people going in and out? This class is so big. Okay. You see the image above the map and you've clicked on it. Yes or no. This means yes. This means no. Yes. No. Everyone has to do this. Yes.
เปิดไปที่แผนที่อ่ะ
Okay. Dang, I can't see you.
คุณโน้ตเริ่ม
You're way
ซึม
too far away. You're way too far away. I can't see you. Toto, you see it?
ตัง nothing.
Oh, dong, right? Yeah. Yeah, I teach your brother also. Sorry, Katot. And that was very nice English, Dong. Okay, good. But can you move? Can you move up a little bit so I can see your handsome face? Can you move up a little bit so I can see your fingers? So, folks, I saw most of your fingers. Thank you. Thank you for keeping the fingers up. There's a lot of students here. I think this is the most I've ever taught online. Okay, so there's an image. I'm looking at it. It's the image that you're looking at is it's about sometime around 1700 BC. There was a stele that was made. And if you look down below here, below where you see these two figures, this is writing. This is the writing down below. If you zoom in, you can see the writing on it. So there's writing on the lower part. And so this is a very famous object. It's called the Law Code of Hammurabi. And so this is one of the first codes of law. So in a certain way, writing and law, are connected. Why do you need writing? Well, you need writing because you need to write laws so that people don't kill each other. So people act. So people know what is good. This is also a problem of civilization, because civilization. One of the things I think I can say to you guys about civilization is that there's more than 10 people. There's more than 20 people. There's many people. So one of the things about a civilization is there's a larger population. So when you have a larger population of people, you need writing. Why do you need writing? Well, because you can't talk to everybody. They already have a language they speak, but then they need to tell people something where it's hundreds of thousands of people or thousands of people, and they need everyone to understand these things. So I'm going to talk about that today, the reason that writing would develop. And I think it's fair to say that it relates to population. So you should write that down as an idea. That's one idea. Why do we have, so I ask you, what is civilization? What is civilization? And one of the answers, what is civilization, is it's when lots of people are together. That's a really good first answer. Lots of people are together. And then from that, lots of people together, you need writing because you need laws, and you need also writing to organize, well, you could say you need writing to organize other things. So you can say writing is for business. Writing is for business. Anyway, I'm going to try to teach you this. This is going to be adventurous. This is Hammurabi. So the guy on the left is Hammurabi. The guy sitting down is a god. The god is Shamash, and the guy's name is Hammurabi. And then the laws of Hammurabi are down below. Xing, can you just briefly share that with everyone? The part about the image. King Hammurabi is on the left. The god Shamash is on the right, giving the law to Hammurabi.
ก็คือภาพเห็นภาพใช่ไหมที่ครูเขาจะให้วาดเนี่ย
คิงภาพไหน
แค่ด้านขวาก็คือคิงด้านขวาก็คือคิงฮอร์บี้แล้วก็ด้านซ้ายก็คือนั่นแหละชื่ออะไรสักอย่างหนึ่งที่เขากำลังแบบว่าแบบอะไรมอบกฎหมายอะไรสักอย่างเขียนกฎหมายขึ้นมาแค่อธิบายรูปเฉยๆแล้วครูเขาก็บอกว่าอะไรคือวัฒนธรรมก็เลยบอกว่าแบบการเขียนน่ะมันสำคัญกับอารยธรรมยังไงอะไรแบบนี้ก็คือแบบคนใช้การเขียนเป็นการแบบสื่อสารว่าจะมีกฎอะไรยังไงแบบจัดการเรื่องต่างๆในประเทศยังไงอะไรแบบนี้
ชิงแล้วรูปเราไม่เห็นมีอะไรเราเข้าไปดูแล้ว
รูปอะนะ
บนรูปแผนที่อะ
แผนที่ที่เป็นนั่นเหรอ
เห็นหรือเปล่าแผนที่อะ
เห็น
มันโพสต์อยู่ข้างบนแผนที่อีกที
Okay, good job, Tang. Tang printed it out already.
แผนมันเป็นแผนที่ใช่มันเป็นแบบแผนที่ที่ว่าเป็นสี
ใช่เขาพูดถึงรูปที่อยู่บนแผนที่อีกโพสต์นึง
โพสต์นึงเหรออันที่เป็นรูปอันนี้เป็นรูปสีดำเหรอ
ใช่นั่นแหละ
ที่เป็นคน2คนน่ะเหรอเอาไว้วาดใช่มั้ย
ใช่
Okay. Everybody understand what you're looking at? Okay, so I will talk about this again because I cannot give you too much to draw. So those are the two things I'm going to give you for Mesopotamian civilization. But I'm going to tell you other things now. So let's try to learn more about the Mesopotamian civilization. those of you who have not opened your videos, I will take you off in about 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6.
ครูเขาให้เปิดวิดีโอทุกคนให้เปิดกล้องถ้าเกิดไม่เปิดเขาจะเตะออก
There's 3 people without their videos on.
John, I have 2 videos because one I can open the microphone, but one I can't open.
Oh, that's so strange. Okay, thank you for telling me. Is that you, Toto?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, that's okay. There's somebody over here with the name in Thai. Is that the same situation?
yes it's ปัง
Pun?
ปัง
it's Dang he has the same problem
Oh, Dong has the same problem. Thank you. Got it, Dong. Kap kum kap. Okay, thank you for telling me. So appreciate when we communicate clearly. Okay. You guys, everybody go to the map. And I want you to, Shane, could you please discuss it with everybody just as you did
เข้าไม่
the
ได้เลย
look at the map together.
อยู่ตรงไหนวะ
Okay, everybody go to the map. I'll be right back.
ต้องเข้าตรงไหนก่อนอย่างแรกอะก็เข้า Gmail ละ
ก็แผนที่ครูเขาบอกว่าเราควรจะรู้แบบว่าชื่อแม่น้ำหลักอะไรเงี้ยรู้ชื่อภูเขาของเมโสโปเตเมียก็แบบไปดูแล้วก็จำ
ประกาศอะไรอะ
ประมาณนั้น
ไม่เห็นมีนะไอ้ดู
ไม่เจอจริงเหรอ
หาไม่เจอ
ไม่เข้าไปใน Google Classroom ก็ได้นี่
อ๋อเหรอ
All right. Do you guys see the map?
Yes.
ให้มันเป็นพันลุงนั่นเองเนี่ยไม่มีอะไรเลยไอ้ดูมีที่จอนส่งให้
ในเมลไม่มีเหรอของไทย
เดี๋ยวดูก่อน
ในเมลเขาส่งให้ทุกคนเปล่า
Okay. So those are your homework assignments. I will come back to them, I guess. I've already posted way too much information for Mesopotamia. What I want to do is see if I can organize your work after class. So that's one thing I'm really going to try to do with you guys. The other thing is to, as we did last year, just really work with very clear concepts. Something that all of you can write in a sentence together as a group. So that we can write our own main lesson book in the groups. So if you're very advanced English and you want to try to write more, you can always just write more. All right? I don't have to tell you write more. Write more and I give you credit. Write more and I recognize that you're advanced English and that you do advanced English work. That's, if you want advanced English credit, you have to get it from me. And I think all of you know that. You understand what I'm saying. Those of you who are just trying to finish your main lesson book, okay? Just trying to do your work, okay? The groups. You must do the work in groups. And that group work is simple. You just learn to write some of the concepts, the historical concepts, and I will try to work with Ayun, Qing, Xing, Ming, Todo, a small group of people. Maybe Neon can help me later. But this is just basic information, maybe 3 to 6 concepts, bullet points, however you want to say it, so that you can understand what you're drawing, you can understand your homework, and you have a basic idea of something about that civilization. These civilizations are very complicated. There's lots of information, and we're not going to look at it. We're going to just try to understand each civilization Nitnoy. Okay? So we're just an introduction to the ancient history, just an intro. Yeah? All right. So you've seen your map. It's a beautiful map. Let me just go with you on the map for a second. Anyway, so the okay, so everyone go to the map. Okay, so is everyone at the map? Ming, make sure everyone's at the map.
Do you want me to share the map to everyone?
Well, it doesn't really help me because I can't point things out. Are you gonna watch what I'm doing and point things out? You can't do that. Go ahead and share it. Everyone can, I don't care. I just want everyone to be seeing the map. Why can't I share it? That's what I can't figure out. Why can't I share it? Okay, I guess I can use, Ming, I can use your map if you share it. Because I can point things out. Okay, everybody, here we are. Okay. Everyone sees the map. Make the map bigger. Can you guys see my little pointer on here or no? No, you can't see my pointer. Okay, so on the map, look up at the top, and you can see north, south, west, and east. I'm going to use those terms. So if we go south a little bit, we can see, yep. If we go south from the compass, we can see the Zagros Mountains. Zagros Mountains are very important in ancient history because it looks like that's where agriculture began. The people there are called the Gutians. There's also other peoples, lots of different kinds of peoples. If you go farther south, you come to Persian Gulf. This is one of the most famous bodies of water these days in the modern world because all the oil of the world comes from this area. All the oil in your cars, all the oil in your parents' cars, it comes from this area, the Persian Gulf. Okay, now if we go east from the Persian Gulf, you have the Arabian Desert. Yeah? All desert, nothing there much. And then you go north again, and you can see the Fertile Crescent. So the Fertile Crescent is all of this green here. Everything that is green here is the Fertile Crescent. Now, what's important for you to know is that the Fertile Crescent is not a place where it rains a lot, like Thailand. It's not like Thailand. It's more like a desert. The reason that they have agriculture is because of these two rivers, the Tigris and the Euphrates River. And the Tigris, you guys see the Tigris and the Euphrates River? Everyone see it? They're in little blue the blue rivers. Ming, ask everyone if they see it.
เห็นป่ะ
Does everyone see it?
เพื่อตรง
เข้าได้
นี้
แล้วมิง
I've had so much trouble over the years because students don't see the rivers. Can you see the rivers?
yes
Okay, please make sure that everyone notices the rivers because the civilization is based on the rivers. Without the rivers, there would be no civilization. Can you communicate that, Jing?
ครูเขาบอกว่าเห็นแม่น้ำไหมมันคือไทกริสกับยูเฟรติสอะตรงนี้อะที่หมิงชี้อะก็คือมันคือแม่น้ำที่อยู่ตรงเมโสโปเตเมียมันก็แบบว่าสำคัญมากเพราะมันแบบอุดมสมบูรณ์หมายถึงสำคัญต่อบริเวณตรงนี้มาก
Okay, so that's, everyone write that down. Write that sentence down. That without the Tigris or you just say the Tigris and Euphrates River is very important to the birth of civilization in the Fertile Crescent. That's a concept. It's in this class, it's one of the most important concepts. The Tigris and Euphrates River are very, very important in the development of civilization in the Fertile Crescent, because that's really ends up being where all the civilization develops. Okay? So that's your first concept, is rivers. The first concept is the importance of two rivers, because there's no rain here. This isn't a place where it rains. My fonto. No rain, but what they do is they're able to take the rivers and they learned to irrigate. So they were able to bring the water from the flooding rivers. Well, at first the rivers would just flood. Yeah, in the early days, there would be a season in which the rivers would flood, and then later the rivers would recede, and in that area that the rivers recede would be very good soil, really good soil, coming down from the mountains where the rivers begin. And so this soil, this earth, travels in the water, in the river, down from the mountains and into the plains of this area. And so you have this soil that's it's a natural part of nature for this soil to come. And then when the river becomes small again, then they would farm that land. And they were able to do that well enough to create mass migrations. According to what I understand, there were people that came from all over because there was food. Food was being grown in this area. So that's the next concept, is food. Ginkao. Eating. Because if you don't have food, you cannot have civilization. Civilization is dependent on food. How do you get food? How do we get food? Well, you guys know the answer, right? How do we get food? What's the answer? Ming, ask the question. How do we get food?
เขาถามว่าเราเอาอาหารมาได้ยังไง
agriculture
The answer, yes. Can you ask that to everyone?
เอจิเคาน์เตอร์
ครูเขาถามว่าก็หมายถึงว่าแบบเรื่องอาหารก็เป็นเรื่องที่สำคัญมากของอารยธรรมหนึ่งอ่ะถ้าเกิดก็เลยถามว่าแล้วแบบเราจะได้อาหารมาจากไหนอะไรแบบนี้
เอจิเคาน์เตอร์มั้ง
ใช่ agriculture Duke said it
เอจิเคาน์เตอร์เนี่ยไม่ได้
Okay, does everyone understand?
แล้วก็ตรงแม่น้ำอะครูเขาอยากให้เราแบบเขียนลงไปในบุ๊กด้วยก็คือใครเปิดซับแล้วก็ลอกตามไปก็ได้ ก็เข้าใจไหมเปิดเป็น
Neon, do you understand?
Okay.
It's hard because I can't get any feeling for who understands and who's lost. Is anyone lost? Is anyone not understand what's going on? Anybody? Of course, you're not going to say that either. Anyway, it's going to be hard for us to do this, but I'll do the best I can. Okay, so there's two concepts from what I've said so far. Number one, so the group leaders, you must write down these concepts. Toto, Ayun, Xing, and Ming. You guys must be writing down the concepts because later you're going to meet with people and you're going to discuss the concepts. Do you understand?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, right now I have 4 leaders, and those leaders will help later when you meet and you might only meet for 45 minutes when you're finished with your classes, but you have to discuss the main concepts so that everyone understands what we're doing. It's very important that we try to help each other. Okay? So back to the map. So the map, then you can see it's called the green area is also called the Fertile Crescent, but you have also other names, like you can see Mesopotamia there. Mesopotamia is Sumer, Acadia. You could say it's these Syria, people of Syria. Anyway, it's all of these people that were found in this area. It's too complicated to try to explain the difference between the Fertile Crescent and Mesopotamia. So just accept that they're very connected. They're very connected. The idea of Mesopotamia, which is a Greek word, and the Fertile Crescent, which is a modern word to describe what you can call the birth of agriculture in the world. According to what we understand, there is no other agriculture in the world. I don't really believe this, but this is what all scientists, every scientist in the history of science and agriculture, in archaeology, anthropology, they all agree that this is the place where it all begins. Now, the question about agriculture, so the question about agriculture is very interesting because I'm going to ask you a simple question. Well, who invented agriculture? What people were the first farmers? Well, obviously one would say, well, it's somebody around here, right? The answer is it's somebody in this area. If you actually study the new science, it is said that agriculture comes from the Zagros Mountains and the land right next to the Zagros Mountains. This line here next to the Zagros Mountains. And the reason that's important is because that's the border of Iran and Iraq today. And if you want to have the answer, who are the first farmers? Who are the people that figured out how to farm? What is farming? What is farming? I mean, this is I would love to spend time with this because this relates to Egypt as well. It relates to the Indus Valley civilization in India as well. The three great ancient civilizations of Mesopotamia, of Indus Valley, Indus River Valley, that's the title I didn't give you yet, Indian, and the Nile culture, which is called the Egyptian. All of these civilizations all base their civilization on the rivers. Please talk about that in Thai.
จริง
ว่า
ๆเราจะถามว่าไอ้ที่ว่าลอกซับนี่ตรงไหนไม่เห็นมีซับขึ้นมาเลยที่ว่าของมิสเตอร์จอห์น
กดตรง3 ปุ่มที่มันเป็น3 ปุ่มเรียงกันแล้วก็คลิกเข้าไปตรงที่มันเขียนแคปชั่น
ไหน
เป็นตัว C 2 ตัว
นี่ไงเนี่ย
แล้วก็เลือกภาษาอังกฤษ
นี่แคปชั่น
นี่เหรอ
ใช่แล้วเลือกภาษาอังกฤษ
นี่
แต่ตอนนี้ครูเขายังไม่ได้พูดมันก็ไม่ขึ้น
กดแล้วมันจะเป็นสีฟ้าขึ้นตรงปุ่มตรงนั้นแล้วมันตรงนี้ว่าซัพพอร์ตกับที่ว่าซัพออโร่กับซัพพอร์ตเอาไหน
ฮะ
ออโร่กับสเปน
ผลิตออโร่สเปน
ไม่ใช่มันเป็นภาษาไงบูมต้องเลือก English เลือกภาษาอังกฤษ
Okay, you guys are just talking about technical things. You guys can do that in the groups, I think. Because my time is almost finished here. I only have a half an hour. Yeah, we're having some technical problems. I don't know why I can't share. If I could share, it would be easier for me to point out things. But anyway, this map's important. All the information on this map is important, so you have to include all the information.
ครูเขาอยากให้เขียนหมายถึงว่าแบบรายละเอียดของแผนที่นี้ว่าแบบมีแบบแม่น้ำอะไรบ้างแล้วก็ภูเขาอะไรบ้างแล้วเมื่อกี้ครูเขาก็แบบบอกว่าก็นักวิทยาศาสตร์อะไรพวกนี้เขาก็แบบเห็นด้วยว่าเขาเรียกว่าอะไร agriculture คืออะไรอุ่นเกษตรกรรมอะไรพวกนี้มันเริ่มจากบริเวณนี้แหละเมโสโปเตเมียหมายถึงว่าแบบจากภูเขาไทกริสซาโกรสอะไรเนี่ยแถวๆนั้นก็หมายถึงว่าคนที่อยู่บริเวณนี้เป็นคนที่แบบว่าเริ่มแบบทำเกษตรนะ
Are you finishing?
Yes.
Thank you. What we're talking about today with the map is we're trying to talk about what is civilization. And in this instance, in this example, we're talking about the Mesopotamian Sumer. We're talking about the first civilization. How did it come about? And the question is, well, it looks like you have to have agriculture. You have to have farming for there to be civilization. It's the first thing. If you don't have food, you can't have lots of people living together. Now, do you all know what was happening before this? Yeah. What's happening before farming? Does anyone have an idea? Do you want to ask that question? Somebody? Neon, can you ask that question? What is happening before farming? How do people live?
Hunting.
Yeah, exactly. Hunting. They hunt and they gather. It's called hunting gathering. So we have two names for this. We have Paleolithic hunter-gathering, and we have Neolithic, which is living in villages, or a muang. And this is a very interesting discussion. The difference between the people that were hunting and gathering were traveling, always traveling. So they couldn't build a civilization. At least that's what many people had believed, because they don't live anywhere. They go in one season, they follow the animals to kill them, to eat. Maybe they started developing farming, but they would have to go again and leave that farm to go somewhere else. So there's a lot of people wondering about this. My imagination is that what happened is that we had hunting and gathering, and from hunting and gathering, people also farmed. And that's the beginning of agriculture. Agriculture in the sense that you're not going out and picking things out of nature. So what we're dealing with here is the difference between living off of nature, just going out and killing an animal, or going out and collecting food, going out and picking it off the ground, taking nuts from the trees and eating them, and this kind of thing. So the difference between hunting and gathering, Paleolithic, and Neolithic, which is living in villages. And these terms, this is the main anthropological term. This is the scientific term, and I'll write it down. But it just doesn't make sense because it's too complicated. Really, people need to eat. Otherwise, there's nothing. There's no human. So you have to hunt, and you have to gather, and you have to then learn how to farm. And because of this learning, that development is very important, the development of agriculture. And so the development of agriculture has long been thought by scientists to be the reason we have civilization. Please share that concept and write it down.
ครูเขาบอกว่าก็แบบนักวิทยาศาสตร์ในพวกนี้ก็เชื่อกันว่าการทำเกษตรหมายถึงว่าเป็นจุดเริ่มต้นของอารยธรรมเพราะว่าก่อนที่จะมีการแบบทำเกษตรเลยพวกเนี้ยเขาก็แบบล่าสัตว์ใช่ไหมแล้วก็ต้องแบบย้ายที่ไปเรื่อยๆอย่างนี้ก็ไม่อยู่เป็นหลักแหล่งอ่ะแล้วก็เลยแบบว่ามันก็แบบนั่นแหละมันก็ไม่ทำให้เกิดแบบสังคมอะไรแบบนี้ก็เลยบอกว่าสำคัญมากหมายถึงว่าเกษตรกรรมแบบสำคัญมากแล้วก็เป็นจุดเริ่มต้นที่ทำให้เกิดอารยธรรม ต่างๆครูเขาอยากให้เขียนคอนเซปต์นี้ลงไปในบุ๊กของเรา
ปิง
Okay.
ว่า
เราจะถามว่า
Please ask questions. Yeah.
ทำไมเป็นภาษาไทยได้อะทำไมกดตรงไหนที่เป็นภาษาไทยอะ
มันเป็นภาษาไทยไม่ได้บูมันไม่มี
ใช่เราเปิดเป็นภาษาไทยแล้ว
นอกประเด็นไม่ใช่เรื่อง
ไม่ใช่มันก็ประเด็นที่ไหนมันต้องเข้าใจไหมเหรอก
ดที่ข้างบนแล้วกดเป็นภาษาไทยมันจะแปลให้ทั้งหมดเลย
อ๋อ กดที่ข้างบน
มันไม่มีภาษาไทยไม่เหรอมั่วแล้ว
โอเคทั้งเถอะเริ่มต่อเลย
Okay, I hear I don't understand, and I hear I'm having a problem. So here's the deal. Xing, do they understand the basic concept?
โอเคเข้าใจคอนเซปต์ที่ครูเขาพยายามจะฮัลโหลไม่มีใช่ไหมโอเคไม่มีเลย
Okay. So again, it's very difficult to get an idea of who is not following. That is what the small groups will be about. And group leaders, I want you to please let me know who's having struggling understanding. Please, I need to know who they are, and we need to help them. We have to all make more effort to help everybody. That's the main thing, is helping each other. So, because look at this is an amazing concept, right? There is no civilization without food. Obviously, there's no humans without food, but you have to have a lot of food. You have to have a lot of food, mak. You cannot just have a little food, and you can't go off and hunt. You can have hunters who bring their food to the markets, but you have to have markets. You have to have talat. You have to have a big market. So markets, food markets, and food, lots of it, makbang. Ahanlak makbang. You have to have lots of food, and if that's what scientists have been saying for years is the basis of civilization. That's a concept everyone must understand. So that's why we start with the Fertile Crescent, because the Fertile Crescent shows us that the rivers were there, and the rivers were expanding in the flood season and shrinking in the dry season, and that the earth from the mountains came to the plains and made good soil, and then the hunter and gatherer peoples realized, wow, this is really good earth, and we could farm it for 3 months a year, 4 months a year, and we could get a lot of food. And then what they learned is that they could only get the food one season, right? So then they had to think about, well, I need to get this food that I can store, that I can put in kind of a storage for the time when there is no water, when it's dry, and I cannot grow anything. So then they have to have a storage. That's another concept, right? You have to have the idea of how do I take right now we're dealing with grains. So millet, I'll give you the list of the grains. That's very interesting. Rice is not on there in the beginning because rice needs a lot more water than what they had. So rice is another subject, okay? Rice is a really interesting question when it comes to agriculture because here in Thailand, we're a rice culture. China is a rice culture, but they were not. China was a millet culture in the beginning. So there's a thing called millet and wheat and barley. Millet, wheat, and barley. Those are 3 grains that are still found all throughout the Fertile Crescent area that we know were early grains, early things. And the thing about those substances is that you can grow them, and then you have these little things like rice, right? And you can store them. You can put them in a bag, or you can put them in a box or whatever, and you can put it inside something, that's cool, not wet, and you can store things. So the next concept is storage. You could keep your millet, which is like rice, or your wheat, or your barley, and you could keep it for a long time. Okay, please talk about that in Thai quickly. Just quickly introduce that. No, got it.
ก็แค่หัวข้อหลักๆที่ครูเขาพูดถึงตอนนี้ก็คือมี3 อย่าง3 อย่างใช่ไหมก็คือตอนแรกก็พูดถึงเมโสโปเตเมียแล้วก็เรื่องอาหารแล้วก็เรื่องที่ครูเพิ่งพูดถึงเมื่อกี้ก็คือแบบการแบบเก็บรวบรวมผลผลิตอย่างเงี้ยจะทำยังไงให้มันหมายถึงว่าแบบเก็บได้นานจะถนอมอาหารยังไงอะไรแบบนี้ Yeah, done.
Okay, so maybe that's enough for right now. So I've just given you 3 concepts based on the map. So that information could go on the page with the map. So you can work on that information in your groups. So the birth of civilization is based on the birth of agriculture, because you have to have lots of food, and you have to have lots of food, and then you have to be able to store the food. So what usually do we need to store food? What do we need to store food so it doesn't rot? What do you need? Can you ask that question, Aun?
ครูก็ถามว่าเราต้องการอะไรในการที่จะเก็บผลผลิตใช่ไหม
Write the question down. It's a good question.
Spices.
Well, no, you need a container. You need a bag. You need something where you can put the grain. Grain is all these things in, and not in a dry place. So what does that mean you need? What do you need to store things? Toto, can you ask that question again? What do we need to store things?
ก็ถามพี่จอนถามว่าคือพูดถึงเรื่องการเก็บอาหารจะเก็บยังไง
ในถุง
ใจเย็น
ฮะ
พูดช้าๆหน่อยดิฟังไม่ทันเลย
ไม่ได้ยินเหรอโทษทีก็คือพี่จอนแล้วถามว่าคือสมมติว่าคือเราได้ผลผลิตไปแล้วแต่คำถามคือเราจะเก็บมันยังไงเข้าใจปะ
ฝังดิน
หมักดอง
แต่
ไม่คือครูเขาไม่ได้พูดถึงหมายถึงการถนอมอาหารนะครูเขาพูดถึงหมายถึงแบบมันต้องเก็บในไหนอะไรแบบเนี้ยแบบคอนเทนเน
ใช่
อร์
ใช่ใช่
a bag
Okay. Did you guys, Toto, did you get any answers?
no
No. Okay. So I think I might just give you guys questions for the groups. That might be another way to approach it. So I make the groups and then I'll give some questions for the groups to discuss. And maybe I'll make it so the groups need to present the answers tomorrow. So we're asking a big question: what is civilization? What is any civilization? We don't know. We know that we have civilizations, I guess, but now we're looking at the first civilization, which is basically Sumer. The area of Sumer are the first civilizations that we know of, and now I'm asking questions like, well, how do you become a civilization? And that is through what the scientists have said is agriculture, and then from agriculture. But I'm asking you, like, how does it go from agriculture to the next step? And so my question is, how does storage? What is storage? How does storage influence the development of civilization, the patana? Now we're trying to think about how does civilization develop?
You mean like buildings?
Well, of course. Yeah, of course. I mean anything where you have to do something based on the next step, and the next step would be building something.
Buildings.
Well, because how else can you store something? So I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I see.
Now, you don't need buildings. You could use huts. So, like in Thailand, farmers use huts. But what do? They make a second story. So in ancient Thailand, there were no buildings. There are no buildings. In ancient, before Thai. Before. What are there? Well, what it looks like is that they learned to build up. Why? Because the rivers and the rain, everything would flood below. So they would build up and they would put things they didn't want to get wet above. So again, this question is it's just something to think about, right? How do we, you have the idea of storage. Well, then this develops into mathematics, because what happens is, okay, so you have all this barley, millet, wheat, and everyone starts to work together, and they have to have it centralized. So they start to try to figure out, okay, so this family, these farmers have brought 10 bags of millet. Somebody has to write down the Nupa brought 10 bags of millet, and either, I guess you could say they got paid something. Maybe someone traded some animals or some tools or something. But eventually what happens is that they just write it down. They write down and you get a credit. And then later what happened in Sumeria is they would make sure everyone had enough to eat all year long. So in the early days of what we call a city, which was the same thing as a state. So it would be like Bangkok, Thailand, is one city-state, okay? Sumer, or let's call it Uruk, or Lagash, or any of these other places you have here. We have Uruk, Iruk, Irudu, and Lagash. Those are all the cities of Sumeria. And each of those cities had to figure out, how do we develop this system? Well, we don't know exactly who was the first. Eridu, what is the first city-state? But whoever was the first city-state there, they developed an idea of mathematics. Because class 10, mathematics is invented in Mesopotamia. It never existed before that. Do we use mathematics today? Can you imagine that? Mathematics was invented because of food, because of business, and because in the early Sumeria, they went from just trading, here I got some rice, you got a cow, I want the cow, you want the rice, something like that. But later, they developed a system and they used their knuckles. So they would use this for counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that was the counting. And then they used their 5 fingers on the other hand. So 12 and 5, basically, I have 17 I can use. These were later used as multiples of 10, or multiples of 6. So in Mesopotamia, in Sumer, you have the invention of mathematics. The first time mathematics is used by the human being. Translate. Can you translate that, Toto? Mathematics is used for the first time to basically account for, let's call them bags of grain.
อ๋อก็คือสเต็ปที่ 2จากที่คือถามว่าคือเขาจะเก็บอาหารยังไงใช่ไหมอะไรประมาณนั้นเขาก็ใช้คณิตศาสตร์มาช่วยในการคำนวณก็คือเหมือนมีการพัฒนาคณิตศาสตร์พัฒนาวิชาการคำนวณต่างๆเนี่ยเพื่อจะมาคำนวณจากอาหารว่าเราจะเก็บยังไงต่ออะไรจะรอดไปอะไรประมาณนั้นแหละ
เอาเรื่อง
ก็คือมันพูดง่ายๆเหมือนกับว่าคณิตศาสตร์มันเขาเริ่มขึ้นเพราะอาหารนี่แหละอะไรประมาณนั้นแล้วก็คือพอมันเป็นช่วงที่มีพวกฮันติ้งพวกมีการล่าสัตว์แล้วก็มีการรวมกลุ่มอะไรที่พี่ติจรพูดเขาก็เหมือนกับสร้างขึ้นมาเป็นเหมือนเป็นตลาดการค้าขายต่างๆไอ้พวกเนี้ยเขาใช้คณิตศาสตร์มาช่วยด้วยอะไรประมาณนั้นหรือบางทีก็เริ่มพัฒนาเริ่มจากคณิตศาสตร์ก็เริ่มผัดมานับใช้นิ้วนับ1 2 3อะไรก็ว่าไปเรื่อยๆแล้วก็อะไรก็เริ่มเป็นการคูณ10 เท่าอะไรแล้วก็อะไรประมาณนั้นน่ะก็เริ่มใช้เริ่มเป็นระบบการค้าขายอะไรต่างๆพวกนี้
ไปดู
โอเคจัน
เสียงอะไร
Thank you, Toto. That made me very happy to hear all of that.
อะไรอายุ14ครับ
So, well, because it means he's writing notes and he's taking the responsibility to be a group leader. Thank you, Toto. And I know others are doing it too. It's hard work. So everyone should appreciate these group helpers, these group leaders. Okay. So we have to find a way to work. And we have to find a way to help each other understand. Kajai. Okay. So now from the mathematics, one can say, wow, you have mathematics, and what next? You know? Well, then it's the big subject. It's a big subject because there's two big things. There's religion and architecture. So in ancient Sumeria, they had both. Lost you guys. Can you guys see?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Can you see my little arrow?
Nah.
No. Okay. All right. So you guys see that. So down here in the bottom, Sumer, in all those city-states, they developed architecture, which is called a ziggurat, and they developed religion. And folks, the Sumerian religion is so complicated. They have many, many gods. And that's what we'll talk about tomorrow.
คำอุทานของเขา
So I will, I'm sorry, I just didn't get to the
สามารถนึก
posts.
ชาวบ้านขึ้นมาอย่าง
You
เงี้ย
guys should, everyone should look
ชาวบ้านเหรอ
at my posts, and I will probably get to them tomorrow.
ได้ยินบ่อยเลยนะไอ้พวกเนี่ย
We're out of time, so
ไม่ใช่
I will make the groups. So look for the groups, and group leaders, do you think you have enough to? So my question is for the group leaders now. Do you guys think you have enough to talk about in your groups? I need all group leaders to answer me. Ayun?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
เสียงดังเกิน
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So now you guys should meet again before 9:30 at night. 9:30 is a good time to stop working on
ไอ้รู
my
ปหน้า
homework.
เราใน
So
มีมันชั
you
ด
can
ปะ
meet at between 7
หน้าเราอะ
and 9 o'clock, let's say,
ถ้า
again,
เราเห็นบางคนมัน
or
ไม่ชั
in
ด
the afternoons, and you can meet for 40 minutes. It doesn't have to be longer than 45 minutes, but just
เอา10 โมง
so people can ask questions and certain concepts can be discussed, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to try to work together. We're going to try to work with this computer and with the Google Meet and the classroom, and we're going to make it the best we can. Okay, we're going to make everything the best we can. And I want you to understand. I want you to be interested in what this is, because this is really, really interesting. And so if it's boring, it's of course my fault, but it's also your fault. So everyone, let's work together and let's try to go forward again. Okay, I give you guys, take a break now, and you will meet again. You guys decide what time, when you want to meet, and how you will pick the code for each group. And then the only thing I will do is I will make the groups, and I will give you maybe a couple of questions to ask. Okay? And group leaders, if you have a big question, you should ask me on my email. Send it to my email, and I will work with you. So any question? What?
Could you please say your email again?
Chalmers, 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 John, John. All little. Lek.
Yeah.
And number 4, C.
Number 4.
At
gmail.com.
And the group leaders, if someone asks you a question or whatever, you can email me, ask me questions. I will answer everything. And we need to communicate. That's our first step. How do we communicate? And that's what we've got to work on. Okay? So everybody, this is hard work. This is a lot harder work than having a classroom in the school. So we have to try to work together, okay? Thank you. Thank you, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you, Mr. John.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
John.
you, Mr. John. Thank you.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
โจ๊กออกของครูจรมายังออกมีทของครูจรเนี่ยออกแล้วเหรอเมื่อกี้เราหลุดพอดีเลยเหมือนกันเมื่อกี้เราก็กดเหมือนกันแล้วก็เลยหลุดออกมาหลุด2 อันเลยอันนี้ด้วยก็เลยงงว่าเอาแล้ววะเนี่ยต่อไปเรียนอะไรวะต่อไปต่อไปมันเรียนจีนเปล่าวะใช่เหรอไอ้อุ่นมันคนละกลุ่มกับเราไหมเหรอเลขกับไอ้พี่เตยสวัสดีครับนิติวัฒน์
อะไรก็เรียกมาไม่ใช่เหรอเรียกกูมาไม่ใช่เหรอไอ้ดกมิสเตอร์จอห์นเขาให้ทำอะไรวะบอกเข้าอีเมลมันทำไมให้ฮะ
ขอบคุณที่มาดูเอ็นหนูนะคะ
ขอบคุณที่เอ็นดูหนูนะคะ